You've worked at this bank for 11 years. You started at the bottom. Teller window, customer complaints, weekend shifts. You did everything they asked without complaining because you understood one thing. Patience in this industry is a currency. And it paid off. Senior transactions manager, corner office on the 14th floor, a salary that makes your parents proud every time you visit home, a name people respect when you walk into a room. You built this carefully, quietly, brick by brick. And then, on a Friday afternoon, your manager calls you into his office, closes the door, slides a folder across the desk, and says 6 words you will never forget. This stays between you and me. Your manager's name is Mr. Cole. 22 years at the bank, smooth, unreadable, the kind of man who never raises his voice because he has never needed to. When Mr. Cole speaks, people lean in. He tells you there is a client, a very important client, someone whose name you will not find in any public record, someone whose business with the bank goes back further than either of you. This client needs a transaction processed, $50 million, moving through 3 accounts across 2 continents. The paperwork is already prepared, everything is structured. All you need to do is authorize it from your end and monitor the movement until it clears. He says the transaction needs to be processed by Monday morning. He says there will be a bonus, significant. He writes a number on a piece of paper and slides it across the desk. You look at the number. You look at Mr. Cole, and you ask the only question that matters. Where is this money coming from? He smiles, leans back in his chair, and says, "That's not a question we need to ask." You take the folder back to your office. You tell yourself you are just reviewing the paperwork, due diligence. That's your job. That's what you do. But the more you read, the more something underneath your professionalism starts to pull at you. The 3 accounts are registered in different countries, one in a small island jurisdiction you have processed transactions through before, the kind of place that exists specifically so that money can move without too many questions being asked. The names on the accounts mean nothing to you. Shell entities, clean on the surface, the kind of structure a very experienced financial lawyer builds when they want something to be difficult to trace. The source of the funds is listed simply as investment proceeds. That's it. No further detail, no supporting documentation, no audit trail beyond what is in this folder. You have processed thousands of transactions in your career. You know what legitimate money looks like. You know what it smells like. This doesn't smell right. You close the folder, sit back, and stare at the ceiling of your corner office, the office you worked 11 years for. You think about the number Mr. Cole wrote on that piece of paper. It is more than your annual salary, more than 2 annual salaries. It would clear your mortgage, it would pay for your daughter's education, all of it, from secondary school to university, without touching your savings. You think about 11 years of patience and careful work has built, and you think about how quickly one bad decision can dismantle all of it. But then you think about something else. You think about who this money might belong to, what it might have funded to become $50 million in investment proceeds, what it is going to be used for once it clears those 3 accounts and disappears into whatever world it came from. You think about your name on the authorization, your signature, your employee number, your digital fingerprint on every movement of this transaction. If this money is what you think it is, and everything in your gut is telling you it is, your name is not just on a transaction. Your name is on the crime. You don't sleep that night. You take the folder home, which you should not have done, and you spend 4 hours cross-referencing everything you can find. The island jurisdiction account traces back to a holding company registered 18 months ago. The holding company's registered address is a law firm in a city known for one thing: providing legal cover for people who need their names kept out of documents. The second account is cleaner but connected,
a subsidiary of a company that appears once in a financial news article from 3 years ago, briefly mentioned in connection with a government procurement investigation that was quietly dropped. The third account you cannot trace at all. It simply exists, registered, compliant on the surface, but with no visible business activity, no website, no public presence of any kind. $50 million in, distributed across 3 accounts, gone. You sit back and look at what you have assembled on your kitchen table. You are not a detective, you are not a regulator, you are a senior transactions manager at a private bank, but you know what you are looking at. Saturday morning, your phone rings. It's Mr. Cole, calling from his personal number on a weekend. He asks if you have reviewed the folder. You tell him you are still going through it. He pauses, the kind of pause that carries meaning, and then tells you the client is asking for confirmation that things are moving forward. You ask again about the source documentation. He says, everything that needs to be in that folder is in that folder. You tell him you are not comfortable authorizing without a clearer audit trail. Another pause, longer this time. Then his voice changes, still calm, still smooth, but something underneath it has shifted. He says, I want to remind you what this opportunity means for your career, and I want you to think carefully about what it would mean to be seen as someone who creates problems for important clients. He hangs up. You stand in your kitchen holding your phone. He didn't threaten you directly. He didn't need to. You have worked with this man for 7 years. You know exactly what he just said. Process the transaction or face the consequences. Monday morning, you sit in your car in the bank car park for 20 minutes. You think about your options clearly and honestly. Option 1, you process the transaction. You take the bonus. You tell yourself you don't know for certain what the money is. You protect your career, your family's stability, and you carry this quietly for the rest of your life. Option 2, you refuse. You go to Mr. Cole and tell him you cannot authorize a transaction you cannot fully account for. You become a problem. You find out very quickly what it means to be a problem for important clients at a bank like this one. Option 3, you don't go to Mr. Cole at all. You go somewhere else. You take the folder and you walk it to the one place that exists specifically for moments like this, the Financial Crimes Unit. You sit in your car and look at the bank entrance. 11 years of your life are behind those doors. You make your decision. You get out of the car, but you don't walk toward the entrance. You walk toward the street. You flag down a taxi, and you give the driver an address on the other side of the city. 6 months later, a lot has changed. The Financial Crimes Unit opened a full investigation within 48 hours of you walking through their door. The 3 shell accounts were frozen before Monday morning. The transaction never cleared. Mr. Cole was suspended pending investigation 2 weeks later. He resigned before the formal proceedings began. Last you heard, he was fighting a legal battle that would keep him occupied for years. The client, the name that wasn't in any public record, turned out to be connected to a money laundering network that had been operating through 4 different banks across 3 continents. Your folder was the thread that unraveled it. Your name appeared in no newspaper, no press conference, no public statement. The Financial Crimes Unit kept their sources protected exactly as they promised. You lost your job at the bank, of course. They couldn't fire you directly, the lawyers made sure of that. But the environment made it clear that staying was no longer an option. You handed in your resignation on a Thursday morning with your head completely high. 3 months after that, a regulatory compliance firm reached out. Someone inside the Financial Crimes Unit had quietly mentioned your name to someone who knew someone. The kind of referral that only happens when people respect what you did. You start your new role on a Monday. Better salary, better hours, work that lets you sleep at night. You sit at your new desk and think about that car park. 20 minutes of sitting still while 11 years pulled at you from one direction and your conscience pulled from the other. It wasn't an easy decision, but it was the right one. And you'd make it again.